Hi Cancer, welcome to your general messages for Sunday the 14th to Sunday the 22nd. Let's get right into things. First card up, we're going to be pulling a Moonology card for advice and crowning energies. We're going to be pulling 3 different cards. Let's see what we get. First up is your dreams need a practical plan, full moon in Taurus. So, you know, dreaming is great. Thinking about things, kicking things around, great. Doing research, trying to get your ducks in a row, great. But then what do you do with it? So it really is about, all right, let's go. Let's like literally in the 3D, like starting on Monday, what are we going to do towards making something happen? So these energies are going to apply to a relationship, a job, a family situation, a money situation, any friend thing, whatever's going on. However resonates with you, that's how general messages work. And remember, these are general, so don't try to make them fit if they're not your read. If it's not your reading, it's not your reading. Look at this, beauty. Fabulous. So beauty is really about, this energy is about noticing and recognizing the beauty in everything that you're doing, including yourself. So, you know, really looking for the good, looking for the special, looking for the unique, and really, really glorifying in that. And I know that sounds very dramatic, but there's something really powerful about that. Taking a very positive, half glass full perspective and being able to identify the beauty in that relationship, what it is that you do like about that job, not being so hard on yourself, recognizing what's so great about you, or even that family member that you might be having a challenge with. It's just easier to move forward when we could focus on the good instead of anything that's maybe not so good or maybe even hurtful for us or to us. But the idea of time is very in the forefront of your consciousness. Let's just say you're very, very aware of the clock ticking. So there's something that needs to be done. No procrastination here is really what I'm being called to say. You really need to get going on something. And because we have the astrological new year, this equinox is going to be the sun's going into Aries in your 10th house. That 10th house has a lot to do with not only your career, but also your home, the relationship that you have with those who you live with, right? That 10th house, 4th house works together. So there's going to be new beginnings in this 10th house, 4th house area on this axis. So what do you need to drive forward right now? What do you need to get into as far as maybe your career, or what do you need to fix even in that marriage to help? Because that's 10th house as well. It's the institution of marriage, is 10th house, because it's your reputation. It's what you're known as. What needs fixing there in order to ensure a stronger foundation, right? They kind of work together, this idea of career and home. Some of you may be even in the space of deciding that maybe you want to work from home or at home, something to do with home. But let's see what we get. We're going to first start with the general Celtic cross spread just to get a lay of the land. Then I'm going to break it out into separate relationship read. I'll pull some cards for additional for career. You know, mixing it up a little differently, because whatever comes up, you know. I'm not going to be separating them out this week. Okay, so we have, starting off, we have the 3 of Cups crossed by the 7 of Pentacles. Okay, yeah. So you're feeling kind of frustrated. You want to just getting going here as far as something goes, right? Because you're feeling this very celebratory vibe, but you're being told patience, wait, and it could be because, okay, all right, trying to figure out, well, there's a lot of cool energies here, challenging and good at the same time. Was coming into this energy in the 9 of Swords. So the 9 of Swords is really about not responding well to the external stress of a situation because your way out of something isn't really obvious. It's not very clear. So you're in this space. It's Mars and Gemini. Mars is always like, what is the right path for you? You know, and Gemini is all about communication, doing business, your neighborhood, family relationships with your siblings, extended family. So if you're having any sort of issues in any of these areas, you know, and Mars is in Gemini right now, and it's happening in your 12th house. So a lot of these ideas might be quite heavy on your mind, but it is this 3 a.m. sort of intrusive thoughts, ruminating, kind of anxious sort of thing. It could be, though, happening very sort of you know, underneath the surface of things. So we have, as you guys are ruled by the moon, and the moon is all about that, right? Controlling our emotions underneath the surface. So this first foundation energy we have is the 3 of Cups. Really cool energy. You know, this is about having a circle of support around you. It also indicates emotional and physical healing depending on what's going on in your life. Really good energy for relationships. Remember, 3 is the number of creation. So very nice energy to meet new friends, to celebrate with friends and family, to be in that space with a new partner where you're leveling things up. Maybe you're celebrating, you might just be celebrating life in general right now, Cancer, because I do feel like you're going to be coming off of some energy that's quite anxious. Some of you may be even struggling with depression right now. But the 3 of Cups energy is a reminder that you have a lot of support around you right now regarding whatever situation you're resonating with this as. And then we have the 7 of Pentacles. So this is crossing it. So this is about, hard work paying off. And I feel like for a lot of you are very much wanting to feel this 3 of Cups energy, feeling this level of support, and you're putting in a lot of hard work, and you're trying to be patient, and you see the potential for success, and you don't want to give up on a situation. You do know that your future self is going to thank you, but there might be this sort of this may be where the anxiety is coming from, because you see it, right? You want to be in that space of support. You want to just have like an easier life. You want to be able to create. So the way this could happen is like, if this has to do with you really want that relationship, or you want that relationship to be better, or you want a new career, you want a new opportunity, right? And you're there and you're working, and you're being patient, but it's like not paying off as quickly as you would like, and it's very frustrating. We have the 7 of Wands, which indicates that there are obstacles, but you have the resiliency to overcome whatever challenge you're dealing with here. Success is literally right there. Morality, your personal philosophy are all going to be very important to you right now. Now, if you're resonating with this as relationship, this does indicate things might be a little challenging for you at the moment, but you might need to end up like fighting. This sounds very dramatic, but fighting for your relationship, meaning like standing up for your relationship, or at least finding reasons, finding the beauty, coming back to the beauty, finding the beauty in the relationship, in whatever situation you're finding obstacles in. Look for the good. Like that, it seems to be the way out. Look for the good and harness that kind of thing. It does seem like it needs to be handled like that. At the end of the day, we do have the Death card here, the Foundation. So this could mean a few things. For some of you, if you're dealing with relationship, this could be a challenging time, right? Where a relationship either ends or there's this necessary separation that's necessary if you guys are ever going to find your footing again, in the future, right? Because whatever's been going on up to this point, it hasn't been very healthy for you. So there needs to be some breathing space, right? So this could be happening right now. And they could bring a reconnection in the future, but for now you may need this breathing space. Regarding career or money, there could be a possible ending of some sort of like the business connection, contract, something like some sort of avenue of money. Things could be kind of tough initially, but this does indicate that there's something that's new, like right there. You just have to be very patient for it. So be very patient. Now, very obvious interpretation for the relationship. When you say 7 of Wands and then the Death energy, right? How would that be working out as far as like for career, right? Or like a money situation. Well, there are obstacles there for sure. Yeah, it's definitely obstacles. Now you have to ask yourself, are you happy doing what you're doing? And do you feel like in moral resonance with what you're doing? Do you feel good about the version of yourself, who you are, when you show up to make money, when you go into your job, whatever it is, you like the people that you're working with? You have to really be in this space where you're answering yourself very honestly, because if the answer is no to any of those things, you're very energetically situated to get into some sort of new career, for those of you who are interested in that, particularly because we have the equinox happening in your 10th house of career. Right now, you're in this space where you're just feeling very restless, very bored, very sort of disillusioned, maybe even apathetic. and you're coming up with a lot of reasons why you're not happy about being in something. So this could be a relationship, a job, that family member who's just driving you bananas. You know, it's coming up with all of those things. But at the end of the day, really what this does mean is it indicates a need to heal some sort of past unhealed issue. So whether it's something deep inside of yourself regarding relationship, regarding your sense of self and how you show up in relationship, or maybe it's you know, how confident do you feel about what you do? How what have you been, what you know, because you're Cancer, you're the fourth house. Fourth house is also the stories that we tell ourselves from our earlier life. Like, are you reflecting, maybe even subconsciously, on any sort of false narratives that were ever presented to you by family members? You know, told that you weren't good enough, told that you couldn't do, or made fun of if you were feeling really confident about yourself. You know, it can manifest in a number of different ways, but you want to really look at how that might be impacting you, okay? If it has to do with career, if it has to do with relationship, you know, it's okay to identify areas in a relationship that you are not happy about, but you want to make sure that you're not displacing all of the blame on that, because like energetically, why are you allowing yourself to stay in any sort of negative space, regardless, whether it's a friendship, an intimate relationship, whatever it is. Now we have this energy external to you that's impacting you right now, keeping that Four of Cups energy. We have the Tower. So the Tower is all about destruction and enlightenment, right? This necessary surrender. So if this has to do with a career, this is a restructuring. So something ending here. So this could be a possible complete change in circumstances, you know, big change, right? Now, if it has to do with a relationship, a secret comes to light, and it could be really shocking, right? But it's time to let go of past patterns of relating. You must do that. Now, for others of you, I do have to throw this in, right? Because some of you may be resonating with it like this, is where you may be experiencing this very intense or physical or spiritual attraction to someone or something that you I'm not even going to say you can't control it, because then that would make you sound like a robot, but where it's really sort of overwhelming you. So, for example, and we're just going to throw this out as an example. I'm not saying that this is your particular situation, but where you're in a relationship and maybe things aren't going so great, and you meet this other person, maybe you meet them online, you meet them somewhere, and it's like your whole world is turned upside down by this person, but you're still in this other relationship. Or you're doing this job, right, that you're doing, and you come across this new opportunity, this new idea, this new concept. Sounds fabulous to you, and you just want to get into it. You want to like abandon what you're doing like yesterday, and you want to just throw all of your energies into becoming really skilled in this new area. So do you understand like that level of imbalance? The Tower could mean that as well, but it's about the past way of relating within a situation needs to end, because again, the way it was working, we're not working anymore. So we have the Death and the Tower. Now this is external, it's impacting you right now. So you may be dealing with a situation where someone that you're dealing with is experiencing everything that I'm saying. Someone that you're dealing with may have ended something. You may have gotten fired. You may have been things may have changed for you, you know, within your experience at work. Could be many things, but it's like this light coming on, and there needs to be this like necessary surrender of something. Never easy. I mean, your challenge is the Five of Wands. Five of Wands is a Saturn in Leo, and this is about straight up competition, right? It's a battle of wills, and like this lack of agreement and very strong opinions and fighting to be heard, and just not being okay. So it does seem like there's some challenge here in some part of your life, and it might be more than one. You might be having a number of things going on at once. It's going to depend on what else is in your chart. But then we have as the final out, the near future rather, we have the Wheel. Okay, so the wheel means a couple of things, but the one thing I want you to focus on is that it does mean a turning point. Now, it's about fate, it's about change. It is a fortunate energy because it's a Jupiter energy. It is, okay. So if this, in numerology, this is connected, by the way, to the Magician and the Sun. I just like mentioning that with this because the Magician is about crystallizing something in your mind's eye, and the Sun is about having all your tools in the toolbox to make it happen. as long as it's good for you. So with relationships, this could indicate somebody coming back from the past, but you need to think about that last go around. And if you think that connection has good enough bones to be really strong enough to work this time, if so, great. If not, and you know deep down that you're trying to fit a circle in a square, chances are things aren't going to go smoothly. If you're meeting somebody brand spanking new, really nice energy for that. As far as career and money, good news coming in. You just have to make sure that you prioritize what's being asked of you, which is really good. Exercising a lot of integrity, right? Because remember, it's Jupiter. Jupiter rules Sagittarius. Sagittarius is all about integrity, right? So definitely a turning point. Turning point in relationship, turning point in career, maybe both, in that family situation, whatever it is, right? A lot of big turning point here, which, to be honest, is always the deal when we hit the astrological new year on March 20th. It is always the deal with this spring equinox. So we have as the closing card here, the final outcome, we have the Four of Swords. So the Four of Swords is about taking a time out, stepping back, getting a different perspective. Awesome, awesome, awesome for doing therapy, shadow work, figuring out a better strategy in your ability to be able to move forward in something. So going back to this crowning energy this advice card is your dream needs a practical plan, and it needs to happen sooner than later. And that's, I'm not saying, hurry up or whatever. I just feel like energetically, this is going to be a really good time to very proactively figure things out with that TikTok energy. So, find something beautiful that you're connecting with and go towards the light, right? Go away from the dark, away from the shade. So that's what I see here as like just a basic general read. So now let's get a little more specific for those of you who are interested in relationship. Let's pull a spread for relationship, and then I'll pull a spread for career. If any of you want a timestamp, I typically provide you guys with a timestamp, but such a busy week this week, guys. So if somebody can do that, that'd be great. The different versions of readings that I'm giving, but let's see. Cancer, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus, having to do with relationship. Anything that Cancer needs to know. King of Swords, Nine of Wands, Four of Cups in reverse, Four of Wands. We have a couple of energies that are sort of resonating with the general spread, so it's always interesting when that happens. Yeah, for sure. Here we go. All right, let's keep those up there, and we'll pull additional energies as we need. Okay, so make sure we have, okay. So we have the Ace of Swords coming into this. So right now, like coming into this energy, I am getting that, first of all, very auspicious energy, but this is about a new beginning, clear thinking. Having to do with this relationship. You're realizing things are very, very obvious to you, and this obvious truth that you just can't not see is going to create an immediate change in your circumstances for the better, though, right? Because this is a space of, I always call it like, this is a very mentally agile energy. What does that even mean? It means being open, being flexible, being very awake and aware, right? And you're going to be in a space where you're going to feel very assertive without being aggressive. And that is awesome, because aggression is not going to help you here, okay? Now, you're going to be getting over some sort of past obstacle that you've been dealing with. You're going to be getting what you want. This is really the energy about thoughts becoming things. This is coming into this energy. So let's see what's going on like right now in this week, right? This particular week of the 14th to the 22nd. We have the King of Swords energy starting out. So really focusing on the heart, focusing on the mind rather than the heart right now. Being very practical, very pragmatic, very, you want to stay very focused on the truth of a situation, right? Because that's swords. Swords, thoughts, truth, it's air, right? But what's crossing you here is the Nine of Wands. And the Nine of Wands, really is it's an energy where you're in a strong position. This is an energy where you're like acknowledging that you've been fighting very hard for something in this relationship and you're very exhausted. So I do want to say that, like, those of you who are single right now, this Ace of Swords energy could just be like realizing something crazy about your past, realizing what it is that you want. Really good. But it's in that realization that you're saying, like, all right, you know what I know about me? I know I can't let myself get too crazy wrapped up right away. I have to have my spidey senses on for any narcissistic behavior. I have, anything like that. You guys being in that space, right? Particularly those of you who are single. So continuing, if you're single, this Nine of Wands energy, you've been through a lot of relationships for sure, right? But you still have fire in your belly for a relationship. This is temporary. This is based in fear because of your past. I get it. And you're going to feel very defensive of yourself right now. But make sure you don't get sucked into like a black hole of negativity, because that's not going to bode well for you. Your efforts are going to be met with success as long as you maintain a very balanced and careful approach. As you remember, what comes after Nine of Wands is Ten of Wands. And we got the Ten of Wands. So to be forewarned is to be forearmed. Be careful. As we have, this is the situation now, and the final outcome card. We're going to pull more cards on this. We have to. Right? But the final outcome is like, oh no, you get kind of thrown off your game here. So you're so like good right now. It's like right now it's like, no, I'm going to do this, this, and this in this relationship. And then when it gets down to it, it's like all of a sudden either you're missing them or you're just feeling like all messed up about what's gone on. And you don't want your emotions to come in and take control, but then like you're water and you're so caring, and it's like, what do you do with that, right? But we do have the Four of Cups as the crowning, and hey, I like this in the reverse because this is a new outlook, a new direction. For a lot of you, if you're single, this is a new option. Now, for those of you who are coupled, married, whatever, the new option here could be a new strategy, a new approach. Maybe you guys are having a very concentrated problem right now. Like, for example, you're focused on trying to have a baby. You're focused on finding that home. You're focused on something going on with somebody's career. You focus on their family situation. You follow what I'm saying. So it's some sort of issue, and you guys coming up with some sort of new option. Well, you just have a new outlook on things. And it could be that the answer was there for quite a while, but you weren't able to see it because we've been in Pisces season. And that's what Neptune does to us. Puts these foggy glasses on us. But now in Aries is like very fresh path, new perspective. We're able to see things. So we have the Four of Wands as the foundation. I mean, this is just really fabulous. Now, for those of you who are single, this is a new partner coming in and being really open with you. Those of you who are in relationship, your partner sitting down and saying, look, I just want to remind you of how I feel. So beautiful. It's about love and affection. Really, that's what we call it the honeymoon card. Very, very auspicious for relationship. This does incite a very strong foundation. A very strong foundation. Putting in some work, putting in that work, and it being a strong foundation. So very nice there. We have, as you right now, you're the Seven of Wands. So right now you're in a space where you're recognizing that there are obstacles. There's stuff. You have the resiliency to overcome whatever it is, but there's stuff here. Okay? And right now you're very aware and you're very proud. And I think it's awesome, but who am I? I'm just reading the energy here. You're going to be very focused on morality, and your personal philosophy is going to be very, very important for you. And right now, the relationship area in your life is kind of challenged. And again, you may be in the space where you feel like you're needing to fight for the relationship. You're fighting for the relationship, which is fine. As long as you feel like they would do the same thing for you. If you feel like they wouldn't do the same thing for you, and you feel like you're working so hard on your own by yourself, that might be a really challenging kind of set of circumstances to stay in, but only you know the answer to that, right? Tarot can never account for human choice, right? I know a lot of people don't like when I say that, but I think it's misleading to say like you're a puppet and you have no control over any of this. It's like the weather, right? You can engage or you could sit it out, right? It's up to you. We have the external energy to you in this relationship is the Six of Cups. So for some of you, it's all about right now somebody that you're dealing with really wanting to find the right balance in this relationship. And if you've suffered any sort of mistreatment, them wanting to remedy it, which is really beautiful. That's going to resonate with some of you. Others of you are going to be feeling very nostalgic for a past connection, because this can indicate reconciliation and reconnecting with somebody from your past. But again, as I always say, you're going to have to decide what the bones were like in that connection. If it's worth revisiting, it might not be, right? If the person was like a raging narcissist, like no thanks, kind of thing. It's up to you. And then we have your challenges, the Hermit energy. You don't want to be alone right now, and I get it. I mean, for sure. Because this can be an energy of like, on the one hand, there's healing here, right? So you may be having a hard time healing from something. You may be having a hard time really sitting quietly with yourself, because this is an energy of going, sort of within for your personal truth and doing like a lot of analysis within. But this is in your challenge position right now. And a lot of times it is about going it alone, right? To really look at things and allowing the space that something may need. You may be in a space, and there's nothing wrong. Look, this is part of the human condition, for goodness sake. There's no right or wrong. Everybody goes through periods in their life like that where they just don't want to be alone, and you may be in that space, right? It depends. You may be having a hard time just having this beautiful connection in this relationship that you really want. It can manifest a number of different ways. Some of you, the hermit in the challenge could also mean like you just really want to go on vacation with your partner. You just feel like you guys need that, right? You need to be energized, but because of COVID and the lockdowns and the weird world we're living in, you just can't get there. But you're feeling very overwhelmingly like that would just be like exactly what the doctor ordered. Some of you, this could also indicate that like you just maybe need to really focus on and give more attention to the relationship right now. And maybe because of various reasons having to do maybe with work or children or family or other responsibilities, you're not able to give the relationship really what it needs to actually work at it. But I'm getting more than anything, it's this space that's not making you feel comfortable. You don't want that space. Like that first spread with the death energy and the tower, we're resonating that a way of relating has to be like done. You don't want to be alone. You still are very ready to sort of fight for this relationship and find balance, right? I mean, we have the strength energy, and that's what this is about, right? Right? I mean, if the relationship has been tested, things are going to improve, but there is a need for balance. So that only if the balance can be had. And what does that even mean? The imbalance comes from ego, right? So an ego is a very, very tricky thing. It's not always a bad thing, but if it's out of whack, it could be, it can end up manifesting where, one of you or both of you have very strong opinions, and there's got to be a calming of the ego so that the minds can open up, right? So it could certainly end up being that kind of thing. Okay? And really, listen, I mean, what is ego anyway? It's just the other side of fear. Like fear is an imbalanced ego is a manifestation of misunderstood fears. So when somebody doesn't understand viscerally that there's an unchecked fear that's at play, that's working in their psyche, it ends up manifesting as like feeling the need to control something because they feel vulnerable, but they don't realize it. You know what I mean? So that's where that ego can get thrown out of whack. So we have as the final outcome energy, you have to call it what it is. We get the 10 of Wands. 10 of Wands is overwhelm, responsibilities, burden, overload of demands. This could indicate your relationship might be neglected right now because of other things going on in life, right? Kind of like what I was mentioning with the Hermit as far as your block. But yeah, and you may not feel very receptive to that interpretation because if you're resonating with this, you're so full. Like, you're so full, you're so tapped out. What else, how else can I put it? With energy regarding this relationship. You don't want it to be over. You want something to work. You want to be in relationship. You just want to make sure, though, that, again, you're not trying to make something work that either needs an entire new approach in order to work, going back to that Tower energy, if that resonated with you, needs the room to breathe, really does need the space, right? Needing that space, speaking to the Hermit challenge. Or maybe it needs to end, altogether. It's just maybe not the right thing. So it's going to mean something a little different for each of you. So we have the Princess of Coins, Page of Coins, that indicates a new cycle in the world. Okay. So we have another deck. This would be the Page of Coins energy, right? So this is really putting a lot of work into something, It's just progress forward. Definitely connecting mentally, physically, emotionally after putting in some really hard work and starting this new cycle. But it does look like hard work is going to end up paying off here because we have the World, and the world is at least lesson learned, right? It's lesson learned. It's the culmination of something. We have the Emperor. I like this for you. Actually, I'm going to pull another one. Let me just, 5 of Cups. Okay. Listen. What's happened, what I see, we have the Emperor energy here. You're going to be right in Aries season, which is hitting on the 20th. You're going to be very much in a headspace of just really wanting to be more in charge of your relationship. And I'm not talking about a controlling way. You don't want to feel like you're a player in your own game, like, subject to somebody else's rules. Not that you want to write all of the rules, but you want somebody who is going to be able to sort of adjust the rules with you. And I feel like you're in this very sort of vulnerable position, it does seem like, and that's just not going to be okay with you. You're going to get to the point where you can't keep doing it anymore. You're very ready for a new cycle because you're understanding this lesson is learned here. You're very focused on being happy, and you're very focused on coming up with ideas to sort of enter this next phase of your life. You're very ready for that. But at the same time, there may be some sadness here, right? Because this relationship may end or may need to be restructured in a way that's not initially comfortable for you before you're really ready. You feel ready for it. You're going to be fine. You're going to be able to assimilate whatever stress is going on here, whatever sadness, whatever it is. You're going to be fine to move forward. But it's like this is coming out of you realizing what you bring to the table. I'm not kidding. I know that sounds very sort of rote, but it's like you're realizing these amazing elements within you and what you bring to the table. And it's almost like, not almost, it is like if you're resonating with this, you're realizing where you have allowed yourself to get lost in the relationship. And you just don't want to do that anymore. And then we have the Chariot energy. So let's go. Here we go, the 3 of Coins. We always have to pull another one with this Chariot when we're doing qualifiers. So Chariot is a very fast-moving energy, swift progress and change, lots of determination to get away from toxicity, right? And go towards more that metaphorical home space. So some sort of circumstance within the relationship is going to be expedited. And we always have to say, like, if they're surrounded by positive cards, then it's moving away from the negative towards the positive, and vice versa, right? So I like to pull I pulled another energy, which we got as the 3 of Coins, which is a positive energy, because this is about collaborating, right? It really is. It's about moving on in a very collaborative way. Beautiful. And being able to crystallize something. So, Magician is about Magician's Mercury. Mercury rules Gemini, communication, and Virgo. Virgo is the landlord of the 6th house, which is the house of health, but it's also problem solving. It's the house of problems, but it's problem solving. So, lots of communication is going to be going on to problem solve, but that's not until I feel like a lot of you guys are going to be going on a break, or maybe you're on a break right now. You're in a weird space and nobody has to tell you differently. Like, you get it, you understand that, but it does look like it has a pretty good outcome. Let's pull some energy on this person that you're dealing with. King of Swords wanted to come out. Okay. Eight of Swords. Tower. Ten of Swords. We have Eight of Swords, Ten of Swords. Ho, 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 ho. Cancer. Yeah. I mean, this is like, turn the page, my friend. That is such, yeah. Let me just tell you what the damn cards say rather than like coming up with all these like hyperbolic kind of, you know, sounds. Here, we have the King of Swords here first. So really nice energy. Being very able, this person that you're dealing with, they're able to sit back and say, all right, like seriously, heart aside, what needs to be done here? This whole relationship is going to require a boatload of patience. It just, hard work and patience. And maybe a lot more than they thought initially, you know? The Eight of Swords is all about feeling trapped in something and them realizing what the heck that's all about, right? This is self-imposed limitation. This isn't even real. This is being in a space of thinking that things will never improve, right? And having a lot of anxiety about that. But then we have the Chariot energy, and the Chariot is all about, again, like we mentioned, this quick moving energy, swift progress, right? A determination away from something that doesn't feels right. And then we have the Tower, and honestly the Tower seems very like this is a necessary surrender. But look what's clarifying the Lover's energy. So look, at the end of the day, one or two things are going to happen, because what is the Lovers? The Lovers is about a need to make a decision in love. Either you guys are going to be on the same page or you're not. And honestly, if they're not on the same page with you, Cancer, you need to send them packing, or you have to just accept it and move on, because you would be trying to fit a circle in a square. You're going to know the energy that you're resonating with, because this is going to be very obvious where it's either that or the decision that you guys are making is, guess what? We have to do things very differently, because what's been going on up to this point? No, we need change. Things can't keep continuing like this. So this is, and when I'm talking, the kind of change I'm talking about is we have to get married. We have to start trying to get pregnant. We have to move. We have to buy a business. We have to make that, you know what I mean? It's like a global, like a grand change. Now, if somebody's not willing to do that, they are not meant to be with you. If they're worth it, they are going to be very willing to make whatever change is necessary here. And then finally, we have the Ten of Swords, complete and painful ending. That's it. This is still a minor arcana though, right? But there's a history here, right? And the finality and the release of something, even though it might be painful, it's the end of a painful era within your relationship. But then we have the Ace of Cups as a final card, which is beautiful. I mean, this is very emotional. This is very strong love, strong support. This is great. This is an offer coming in. This is fertility. This is very emotional event. This is getting pregnant. This is deepening of that love. This is taking that next step. So either the Ace of Cups is going to happen in an area, or the Tower is going to fall the other way. General message. So I have to, but either way, one thing that we do see is things are not going to be looking the way they are right now. And you know what? Good riddance. Who cares, right? I mean, who cares? That sounds so callous, but meaning you need the change. Does seem like you know that, Cancer. You don't want it to stay where it is right now. Right now, where you're at is very uncomfortable. Let's pull some career cards, shall we? Okay. This is a longer video than I've been spending on the other ones, but I can't keep you hanging. I can't do that. So we have the Five of Wands in reverse. We have the Emperor. We have the Moon reverse. We have the Strength card. So the Five of Wands in reverse is harmony, success, problem solved. Love it. We have the Emperor energy. The Emperor can mean a new job. This is a new leadership role. This is a really good energy. Finances getting organized and balanced, found in work or whatever money situation you have going on. I like this. The only thing I want to mention though here, and mentioning this especially just because we do have this the sun moving into Aries for you in your 10th house. If you're not really happy in your job and whatever it is that you're doing, you know, like if you just don't feel any joy, and again, I'm not saying like on an everyday basis, but overall a general feeling of joy in what you're doing, you're going to feel very stifled in this energy. You know, that's what happens here. So, you know, in this beautiful energy of problem solving, you might be realizing, you know what I'm doing, it's just really not jiving with me. I just don't really want to do it in this way anymore or whatever. You're going to be so clear. The moon reverse is all about clarity and the truth coming out. And there being messages coming to you either serendipitously or through your dreams or something just happening really beautiful. Oh my gosh. And then we have the strength energy. So this is awesome. Creativity, I love it. Yes, I mean, this is really good. And first of all, if you're in a job that you're pretty okay with, but there have been some tensions because of somebody's ego, a little bit of empathy is going to go a long way. You guys are good at that. So that could just settle that up right there. For others of you, remember, strength is Leo. Leo is the fifth house of fun. It's also creativity, right? It's also one of the entrepreneurial houses. So you getting into something where you're really exercising your creativity. A lot of you guys are going to be changing focus, though. It's like, boom, the lights are going on. I just feel like that for you, kind of across the board. Your eyes are going to be very clear, come this week. Again, so we have that sun going into Aries on the 20th. So write it down. You're going to be feeling it before and after a bit. But anyway, that is what I have for you. I hope this was helpful in some way. You guys take care. Until next time. Bye-bye.